like, God
So
damn.
you remember when Dr. Dre came out with the Chronic?
Yeah.
So around that same year, we had a Thanksgiving party, right? It was like 25 of us.
Yeah.
Right? So these two guys came. They was from LA, and they had some Chronic,
Yeah.
right? And I had never seen it before. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, let me smell
What
that.
is that? Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So the dude rolls up. I think he rolled up 2 joints, and he put them in the microwave. I'm like, why are you putting that in the microwave?
What the
I didn't
fuck's
understand.
going on?
So anyway, we sit down. I'm sitting right next to him,
Yeah.
right?
Give me that
So
first.
he lit it up. I hit it, right? And the next thing I remember,
All right. So we're back. Episode 2 of the Alpha Hour.
dose.
My brother, that's right. He's bilingual. He's black. This is not a racist show, so kiss my ass.
Right.
This can't be a racist show. I'm like 20 different races myself, so
I'm several
you know.
myself.
But it's funny though. We've had people say that.
Have you done the 23andMe?
No, I
I
haven't.
mean,
Do I need to do that?
maybe we probably should just for the.
We
just
should
to
do it
see
for the
what's
show.
up.
We
Yeah.
should do it for the show. Okay.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
We'll do it
No.
just to see. I mean, according to my
knew I wasn't.
right. I'm like, dude, we're cousins, man.
Right.
Look,
It's crazy.
like my grandfather. I remember I asked him. I said, hey man, what is our lineage? What is our background? Because he was born in Moscow in Russia, and he was like 114 years old, like when he passed away.
Wow.
Maybe older. We don't know, but because he was literally registered, like I don't know, 6-7 years after they started registering people. Because when he was born, they weren't doing
Right.
it. That's how fucking far back he goes. You know?
Right. Wow.
He was old school, man. And the cool thing about him was, man, he was like, when he passed away in his sleep. He didn't have any ailments, any problems like showering himself, going to the restroom, or any of that stuff.
Wow.
He still was working out the day before he passed away.
That's how
He
you want
went,
to go.
yeah. You know what he always told me? He was like, do a couple of things if you want to have this kind of longevity, right? You eat raw vegetables every day. You eat fruit, like real fruit, like healthy fruit, every day. You drink lots of water, and you do some kind of activity every single day, whether it's walking, hiking, working out, whatever it is.
That basic human shit we
I'm
was
like,
talking about.
this is the most basic shit. He was telling me this, and the whole time I'm going like, this is like, I can't even believe like you get caught up in so much shit that you don't even think like, oh, I just need to do this.
Right.
This is it.
Right.
And he's like, if you do that, and then he drank vodka, he fucking partied, he did everything. But he said, but this is something that's part of my regimen that I always do. It doesn't change. And that's why he lived so long. His mom lived even longer than he did.
Wow.
But because you know why? They grew everything they ate.
I was just about to say,
Yeah.
it's, when you're born into that, like the difference between, a baby that's born C-section with no breastfeeding, and then a baby that's born, like my grandkids in the living room and immediately on the titty afterwards,
Right.
and the mother
Natural.
utilized the placenta for, you know what I'm saying? Like it's different when you see them
How it's actually supposed to happen.
thrive.
Right.
No runny noses, no lack of energy, no lack of focus. It's pretty amazing. So I've seen both, and it makes a difference.
I mean, the human body is amazing anyway, and it's so smart. People,
Very smart.
and people start getting caught up in the remedies instead of realizing that, if you keep your body strong, keep your mind strong, you do the right things, you don't need to have all these like pills and stuff. Like the worst thing I see is when you see somebody that's old and they have this pill box. They open that, it looks like every color under the fucking rainbow is in that pill box. And they
I'm
have
trying
to
to avoid that for sure.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, they do it, and they do it. It's almost like they're relying on it. It's kind of sad because they've given up. They're like, "This is my lifeline now." Instead of saying, "I'm gonna take it into my own hands and I'm gonna work out and eat good and do this and do that."
Do you think that that's easier than changing your lifestyle?
Oh yeah, it's way easier. Just take a pill.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's not. That doesn't mean it's the right thing. I don't think it's the right thing. I'm against that.
well,
But I think for these people who are already lazy anyway,
most prescriptions, right? And most, not all. Some are very, very necessary. But like I have clients who are type 2 diabetic. I mean, I'm borderline myself.
Yeah.
And
how the fuck are you borderline?
I don't really.
What, on paper you're borderline?
Yeah, on paper.
Yeah, because in reality you're not borderline.
Well, I mean, I test my blood sugar almost every day, and it's never over 100. So I don't.
Yeah.
But my A1C is over 5.8. 5. Yeah, it was like 6 last time, which kind of freaked me out.
Yeah.
Because it's never been that high.
What'd you eat?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but that's what it really is. It's like you can change that with diet. And like I say, I guess I meant simpler, not easier.
Yeah.
It's simpler to change, what you put in your mouth than it, because most people's prescriptions are, like a metformin.
Mm-hmm.
The doctors give you metformin so you can keep eating bullshit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, because as soon as you...
Like, you're not going to change your diet? No problem.
But I'm saying if you go into ketosis, now the metformin is of no value to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm living that. I'm seeing that in reality.
Well, you proved that, by changing your diet, you can even get rid of cancer with your wife.
100%.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's legit. She went through all the doctor shit.
Yeah.
And
well, the crazy thing about her situation is... we've been together since 92. So I watched it happen. Of course, I didn't say, ooh, you're getting cancer.
Yeah.
But I'm saying,
you were there.
All the phases you go through. She had a high stress job. I saw her gaining weight, but I didn't really put 2 and 2 together. It's, 14 hours a day working, sitting in the car or behind the desk, going through drive-through. The cortisol release from, am I going to get this sale? Because she used to come home.
Stress, yeah.
Upset or whatever if she didn't get the sale, and then floating on a cloud if she did get the sale. And I just saw that. and then she was going through some hardships with in the family, and it just took a toll on her. So I remember one day, I gave her a hug, and I felt this weird non-her energy, and I kind of pushed her away, and I was like, you need to get those implants out, which not knowing nothing, but I just something just told me it was the implants. And a couple of days later, she said she felt a lump in the shower, went and got to the doctor. They didn't do a biopsy right away. They just did a ultrasound scan and all that. And then we came back, and it was like, well, we don't know what it is, but if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably that.
A duck, yeah.
And so then we went to a specialist, and they wanted to immediately schedule surgery. I'm like,
of course.
Time out.
Of course.
I grabbed her out of there.
Yeah.
And took her home. Yeah. I'm like, babe, we got to change your being. We got to change your lifestyle. So we just did a radical lifestyle change. I got her in ketosis, went more alkaline. All the things that I've learned.
I remember, yeah.
Yep. And then,
you stopped feeding the cancer.
Then months later, we went back to the doctor, and they was like, "Oh, you're so healthy, we can cure this," and which shocked me because they literally use the word cure, and that is not their norm.
There's no cure for
and so me not knowing what I know now, I recall going, and they went to go examine her, and they couldn't find it. Couldn't find it
anymore.
They did ultrasound, then they sent her for MRI, and they came back, and because of her original scan said she had 8.5 centimeters by 5 centimeters, so it was 8.5 wide by 5 centimeters tall. So they went and did another MRI, came back, it was 0.8, so it had shrunk 90%.
Wow.
And I didn't know at the time that if you have a tumor, 90% of that tumor is cancer, and then the other 10% is you. It's your immune cells. It's the prison that's holding in the cancer. And so that's why they use the word cure, you know what I'm saying, because
that 10%.
Her blood work was perfect.
Right.
So all she had to do was deal with the tumor, and we got 90% of it before they touched her. So just a lesson to people who go into that stuff. Cancer is like a long race, unless you pick a fight with it. And so most of the time they go to war with the disease, but you're the battlefield. So the best thing you can do for yourself, I'm not telling you don't go through with the therapy. I'm saying prepare the terrain for what they're getting ready to do to you, so you can come out on the other side. And then a lot of people, they go through it, and they get put in with remission, but you don't turn the immune system back on. So then a lot of those people, it comes right back, in a couple of years. So it's a whole process, and you have to realize.
And it's a lifestyle change. I mean,
you have to change it.
You know, we're all carrying cancer cells.
Yes, every day.
Yeah, every single day.
Every day.
So, you know, some people don't even know that. They think it's just like something you catch.
Yeah, you don't catch it like on the toilet.
No, bro, this is not something you're gonna catch by having a one night stand. Like this is with you every single day, and you know, it has a lot to do with how you treat your body.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, your body's trying to save itself. You know, it encapsulates those toxins. You know, like put it in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you have a chance to rectify it. And a lot of times, you know, those diseases learn how to hide in your body, hide from you, hide from your immune system. You know, heavy metals are one of the things that diseases use to basically set up a foundation in your body. Parasites, mainly parasites, cancer, uses heavy metals as a cloaking device. Kind of, every time I say that, it reminds me of like Star Trek when they put the shield, whatever, and you can't see them exactly. And so your immune system has what they call killer T cells that are in search of anything like that, anything out of whack. And those, like I say, those heavy metals are used against you. And so that's why it's always good to detox. You know, not just like a colon cleanse, but literally detox. You know, fasting. You know, you want to get into ketosis, get into autophagy, and then that's going to allow your body to cleanse itself.
And you know, one of the easiest starting points will be drinking more water. 1,000. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody can do more than that. Because you talk to anybody, like, how much water do you drink? Maybe a couple. You know, I'm like, you're way below what you need every day. You know what I mean? That's an easy first step for anybody. You know what I mean?
Yep. You know, an ounce per pound of body weight on the high end, and half of that on the low end.
Yeah, and that's easy to do. It's really not hard.
Unless you're 245.
Well, if you're 300 pounds, we need.
You almost need that though.
So. Right. Well, you still need. I mean, water is, you know, like, what is it, 75% of muscles water?
Well, it's the universal solvent, so everything cleanses itself with water.
Yeah. So, if you're not hydrated, nothing in your body works the way it's supposed to work. You know, at that optimized level, getting your body, you know, everything that it needs, feeding nutrients to it, all that stuff. So, I mean, that's the first thing I would always tell people. Like, if somebody came to me for personal training, first question would be, okay, how much water do you drink every day? You know, and it was like rare if I ever got somebody to say, I'm drinking like a gallon, or I'm drinking 3 liters, or, you know, 2 liters, or whatever. Rare. Most of the time, you know, I'll drink like 2 cups, you know, 1 in the morning when I get up. So I'm like, it's not enough. You know? And then they're like, I don't know, I'm tired, and, you know,
I start my day every day with 32 ounces, at least 20, because sometimes I drink some of it before I go to bed.
Yeah.
But I got a 32-ounce tumbler that I fill up with ice water, and I put it by the bed. And as soon as I get out of the bed in the morning, I grab it and take it to the bathroom with me. Because if you don't do that, then you're playing catch up all day. And they say you're supposed to drink, you know, most of 50% of your water before like noon. Anyway.
Yeah, which is I mean, very rare. That's somebody's doing that. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, how they say or whatever, but if you try it, it's old Chinese medicine. If you try it, you'll notice a difference.
Right.
You'll eliminate constipation or diarrhea, whichever one you suffer from. You're gonna digest your food better. You're just gonna be better.
Well, you feel better. Your energy is different too, and you know what? Your alertness is different. I mean, that's one of the things I noticed. Like, when I actually got my water right, because I was like, all right, because I'm one of those people that wasn't drinking enough water, right? And it was almost worse for me, because I know I should have done better, but I was still getting caught up in, you know, the day-to-day hustle. And I'd be like, and I would even have my water with me, and I would be like, you know, and then all of a sudden I'm like, fuck, it's like 2:00. I should have drank 2 of these.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I know this. And I'm like, fuck, okay, all right, let me catch that up. But then what I started doing was I actually set an alarm on my phone. You know what I mean?
They got apps for that.
Yeah. Well, back then it was just alarm. So it was we've come a long way from that. But what I would do is I would set my alarm, and I would be like, after 25 or 30 minutes, if I hadn't drank, it would say drink water. Actually, my note to myself was drink water, motherfucker. That was my note to myself, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I gotta drink water. Hold on, and then then I got in the habit. Then I didn't have to use the alarm anymore because now I'm like on that clock.
Mm-hmm.
Like every 20 minutes or so, my body was telling me, hey, drink that water, motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but I noticed, like for me, like my alertness was different when I was when I was hydrated. My alertness was way different. My mental focus was different. And then when you look into the research behind it, I'm like, that makes complete sense. Why it would be.
You also can get your water from, whole fruit.
Right. Watermelon, man. I love watermelon. I eat a lot of watermelon.
I grow watermelon.
Don't make it racist, okay? I'm not.
No. Well, that's always funny to hear that stereotype.
Yeah, I'm like.
I've never met anyone that didn't like watermelon or fried chicken. To be honest with you.
Yeah, dude, I love me some fried chicken.
All right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's a dumbass statement because I really do love.
It's funny though.
It's hilarious. I'm like, why? Why does that? Why does that have to do with skin color?
Right.
It's a fruit.
Yeah. So I got a garden. So every year, the last 5 years, I've been growing. The first year that I planted my garden, I didn't use any fertilizer.
Yeah.
I kind of just went out there and dug it up.
Yeah.
And planted, either seeds or the little plants.
The little plants you put in. Yeah.
So the first year, I think I did mostly seeds. And when I tell you my plants got about 4 inches tall, if that, and that's it. They didn't do nothing else.
They didn't grow any further.
What the hell is going on? So I started watching a bunch of YouTube videos and started realizing that's when I learned about the environment and how glyphosate is everywhere. Yeah. It's like 90% of the country is exposed to it. And basically, if you look at the commercials, they market it or make you think it's a weed killer, right? In reality, it's an antibiotic for the microbes in the soil. Yeah. So without the microbes, the soil is non-fertile. Yeah. So now you have to buy fertilizer in order for food to grow. Right. Ain't that crazy? Yeah. When people, a lot of times we don't know the reasons behind stuff. Yeah. And
I bet you right now, people's minds got just blown by you saying.
Well, it's the truth.
But it is.
So I know someone who used to work for Monsanto. Yeah. Monsanto, and it was just like it doesn't kill bugs. It doesn't kill weeds.
They're like shooting at a bug.
It destroys the microbes, and so in a bug's gut, if you destroy the microbes, it disintegrates. Right. In the soil, the microbes in the soil. If you destroy those, they don't break down the material, so it won't be in the plant.
It can't grow. Yeah. Can't feed it.
It's impossible.
Right.
Like if you don't believe it, go try to.
Then they're like,
go dig a hole somewhere in the yard and plant something, and just water it. Don't fertilize it and watch what happens.
And then they're like, go buy some of the soil and put it in there, and then
then you go get some soil or you get some fertilizer, and booyah, there you go.
Like,
it's chemistry. Yeah. It's chemistry. It's pretty wild. So now I know what to do, and I try to use organic. I actually do use organic, and I also have a compost heap. Which is kind of weird because, when I first got my first compost heap, I would just throw all the scraps in there, right? Well, if you throw like tomatoes in there, grapes, whatever that has seeds in it, even potatoes, it'll literally grow. Like when you take the compost out and put it in the garden, then tomatoes will be everywhere. Or I was growing potatoes like in the compost bin. I was just like, damn, because nature, life is going to proliferate no matter what. Right. And so I just, it's just crazy the stuff that you learn.
Yeah, man. But you learn because you're actually doing it. You're applying it. The problem is most people don't apply it. They just get in the car, drive to the grocery store. Yeah. They do whatever they tell them to do. Get this, and then they go home. It's different.
You get a whole nother appreciation for food when you plant it yourself and then you eat it. I got strawberries, so man, we had these strawberries for 10 years now. Yeah. They come back every year. Yeah. And the other day I
took
one and ate it.
Same, man.
I mean, if strawberries in the store tasted like these, that would be the number one selling thing in the store. It's really crazy the difference from a strawberry you grew yourself and picked it, and that right off the vine, go wash it off and eat it. Yeah. Oh man, it's not the same. Unbelievable.
It's not the same. And what's so crazy is that it's this. Do you hunt? Have you hunted?
No, I'm a fisherman.
Oh, fish. Okay, you fish. That's a form of hunting.
It is.
It's like, you know.
It is. Yeah.
I had a crazy friend of mine that was in one of our teams. He used to hunt with dynamite.
What?
Yeah, literally. We went. He was like, "You want to go fishing?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we went. It was me and 2 other guys. We were like, "Yeah, let's go fishing." He had a nice boat. We went out there, and I'm looking on the boat. I'm like,
No fishing rod.
I'm like, "There's no rods on us, bro. You left the rods at home." He's like, "No. We got. Come here." He opens this thing. It's got fucking dynamite sticks in it. I'm like, "Are we fishing with dynamite today?" He's like, "Oh yeah. Watch this. This motherfucker would throw it. I'm not kidding you, man. He would throw it. And he had a 42-foot Sea Ray is what he had. So we go out there. He's throwing the fucking dynamite off the thing. It's exploding underneath the water, and the fish are floating to the top, and he just fucking nailing him.
Wow.
I was like, Chris, you crazy motherfucker. I'm like,
that's illegal in like 47 states.
Yeah, and I was like, I expect Coast Guard to be here in about 5 minutes.
Right.
Can we go home? Can we go home now?
Wow. I ain't got no dynamite.
Yeah, he was like, I do this all the time. They know me. I'm like,
my famous
bro,
last words.
I'm not trying to go to jail today,
Right.
so let's just head back, get some rods, and do this properly. But
That's hilarious.
that's experiences, man. That's you know, you get.
I can safely say I've never dynamited.
We'll
fish
have to go
before.
sometime. I'll give him a call, Big Chris. My boy Tony's gonna come in. Yeah,
Call your buddies, get permission.
he'll call the Coast Guard, let them know you're going fishing. But
That's hilarious.
crazy, man. But when you go hunting, it's the same. You were talking about how it's different when you grow your own food. When you go hunting and you get an elk or something like that, right? And you actually eat that elk that you tracked and you followed and you know took it down, and then you know
Dressed it.
right. You did all this stuff, and then you brought the meat home. First of all, that elk.
You earned it. You really earned it.
And it's different because you have almost like a connection with this animal that you got. It's a completely different thing. And I thought it was bullshit. I thought I've heard people say stuff like that are hunters. I even heard God, what was his name? There's somebody that was on Joe Rogan's podcast that's a hunter. That's all he does. Maybe it was Cameron Haynes. But I remember them talking about it before I ever did it. And I was like, man, I don't know. Is that I was like, I can see how what they're saying makes sense, but also I'm like, I would have to experience this. You know what I mean? So I went, and 100% they were right. 100% they were right. You get this animal and you eat it yourself, and you have a connection with this. It's not the same. Like then I realized how you have these groups that are anti-hunters groups. Like you're not going and killing an animal for no reason.
Right.
Like you're using that animal completely.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when I did that, it's the same thing when you grow your food. My grandfather, when he was alive, he grew like at my parents' house. He just did a garden because he's been doing this since he was a little kid.
Yeah.
His mom showed him. So he would grow, and they had big peppers and they had tomatoes and they had all this stuff. And he would just go out there and fucking pick it up. That's what he's talking about, raw fruit.
Yeah.
And he grew it.
Yep.
He grew it. So it wasn't coming from the store, even Whole Foods or whatever. It's different. You know what I mean? And when I went hunting the first time and I experienced that, I was like, man, this is like a real thing. And it brings you back to like the days where people actually had to go and hunt to bring food
to survive.
Home. Right, to actually survive.
Like a whole nation of Native American Indians depended on, the hunt, the crops they grew.
Yeah.
They lived off the land. There was no money.
There was no
You
money.
know what I'm saying? So they exchanged either talent, effort, or goods and supply. And, we as humans, we're kind of disconnected from that.
Dude.
But that actually still works.
Yeah, and you realize if there's ever a world that we go backwards in, like if something stops, like it was a solar flare or something like that, how many people are going to survive and know what to do to survive? Like how to grow food, how to go get. Think about that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I mean, like.
You'll have pockets of just pure bliss and then pockets of just pure madness.
Madness. What's going to happen is people are going to raid all the grocery stores where the foods are. And then they're going to start raiding people's homes.
Yeah.
Because that's where the next place is to find food. And then they're fucked.
Speaking of that, I just saw a house the other day that like transformed. So it's like, it looks like a regular house. It is a rectangle. It's kind of square. But you saw one picture where it's the windows and the porch and the, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then the next one is just all sealed up.
What?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
The Transformer house?
I mean, I wouldn't call it a Transformer house, but I'm just
Is that a
saying it
prepper's
like
house?
literally, you push a button and then
Changes
all the
everything?
steel doors and all that come down.
I
thought that
mean,
was
I'm not
pretty cool.
against that when the fucking madness happens.
Well, they was saying it was a purge house.
Was
like,
it a purge house?
Well, I'm saying it's one of those houses that's ready for.
I think we should have
shit
a
to
purge
jump
day.
off.
I'm down with that.
You down with that?
I'm down with purge day for sure. Think about this, okay? If there was an actual purge day, okay, and people knew, like, hey man, on this day every year we can get fucking killed, and it's okay and it's legal, and so, dude, I would have a list. I would be like, oh, you wanna? Okay, cool. What's your license plate?
I was about to say writing down license plates,
I'll be
following
like,
people
all right,
around.
I'll see you.
I'll see you
I'll
on
see
the
you in August.
22nd.
Yeah, I'll see you in August. I'll see you. You better fucking run and hide in August. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like one of those things. But it's, and the reason I say that is because, you know, if you go to like, and you've been around the world, if you go to these other countries, and you're like, there's no crime here.
No.
You know, and you're like, why is there no crime here? It's because that very first motherfucker that does something wrong, they make an example out of that guy, and then everybody else is like
Walking around with no hands. Yeah.
everybody else is like, no, I'm good. Like, you go to Dubai. You've been to Dubai, right? Yeah. You go to Dubai. It's like the safest place on earth. Like, you can't. There's no crime,
Right.
and there is no crime because they won't like put you in jail and then you can bail out and then go and do it again like they do fucking here. You know what I mean? They will take you and then they disappear you. Or if they keep you alive, they chop off your arm or something like that. You know, you gonna walk around with drinking, you know, out of a straw the rest of your life, and they're gonna be like, yeah, remember that guy, that's the guy who did that. You want to do it too? Like, no, sure don't.
I was in India one time, and the security picked us up. I'm sitting in the back of the car, and he turned around. It's like, hey, Mr. Friedman, how you doing? Oh, welcome to Mumbai. You know, you don't have to worry about
being robbed.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about
kidnapped.
crime.
Yeah.
There's no crime here. And then nobody's stealing.
India.
And then he said, but he said, the only thing you might have to worry about is terrorism. I was just like,
There's no crime, but you get blown up today. Ain't
ain't nobody gonna steal my wallet, but I am worried about the terrorism.
Yeah.
So we end up staying at the hotel where the terrorists came in, where the soccer team was staying.
Oh,
we
shit.
stayed in that hotel. So the next morning, I wake up to go to breakfast, and I hear, "Good morning, Mr. Freeman." I turn around, 3 armed guards are fully
Machine
automatic.
guns, yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah.
oh,
No,
they
it's
were
safe here. It's
they
safe
wasn't
here.
playing. You got to go through the metal detector to check in.
Yeah.
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 It was,
Well, you know, India is very poor. You know, like,
and
you
they
either
got some
have.
super rich there.
Well, that's
too.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you're either there's no middle.
No.
You're either very poor or very rich.
Yeah.
But majority is very poor. That's the majority of the country is very
I'd
poor.
say 99.
Yeah.
98%. So, you know, a bunch of us went over there. Me, Phil, Kai, Jay. I think
They
it was
love
just, it was like
bodybuilding there too, man.
15 of us over there, and we did an
Were
appearance.
you like a movie star in there?
Well, to be honest with you, I was like 5th or 6th man on the totem pole. I was just like happy to be one of the dudes,
I know
keeping
they
it real,
love Kai.
keeping it real.
Kai keeps going
they-
back.
Yeah. But so we go to this gym, and it's on the 4th floor. So there's an elevator.
Yeah.
I was wondering where the stairwell
Yeah.
was, but there was an elevator that held 4 people. It said 4 people, 4 persons, right? So, of course,
That's one
4
of
of
you.
us tried to get
I
on
was
there.
gonna think, yeah, that's
And
good.
as soon as we got on there, beep, beep, beep. So one person got off still, beep, beep.
Yeah, like-
So we ended up almost having, I think two by two was the most could go up there.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. So, but it was like, I don't know, 30,000 people,
Yeah.
or if not more,
Yeah.
just right there.
Yeah.
You know, what
Waiting
I'm saying?
for you guys.
So we're all trying to keep the crowd calm.
Yeah. Because you're like,
And then
these
Phil
motherfuckers go.
Phil goes and takes his shirt off and starts posing, and they freaking went
That's it.
bananas.
That's it.
I was like, I ain't dealing with all
They
that.
love the sport, man.
We get back to the hotel, and they was like, oh, we're getting ready to go sightseeing. And like I said, I don't know if you've ever been to India before, but just going from the airport
the traffic
to the hotel.
You talking about traffic?
Well, it's not just the traffic. It's,
The driving.
the traffic. You're driving forward
Yeah.
on the bus, and I'm looking out the window, and there's cars going.
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no
There's no rules.
lines. There's no
there's
lights.
No rules. There's no
It's
rules.
just everybody doing whatever the hell they want to do.
They're just trying to
And
get done.
they was like, you want to go sightseeing? I'm like, I done seen enough.
Yeah.
I stayed in my room.
You're
I
like,
was just
"No, I'm
like,
good.
I don't want to see no
I don't
more.
wanna see no more."
That was crazy.
It's overwhelming, man.
Yeah.
It's like that when you get on that side of the world. It's different, man. People in America don't understand. That's why I say, listen, I don't even tell people to go to the Middle East or go to India or anything. I'm like, just go to Europe.
Yeah.
Just go to Europe. Go to like Italy and France.
Yeah, go to Spain.
Go to Spain.
And then check in a hotel.
Yeah.
That's not, 3 stars or better, just a regular hotel.
Yeah.
And it's about this big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it was like so amazing how small
Everything's
everything
tiny.
was.
Well, even the cars, right? Because even the car, nobody has SUVs there because gas is too expensive.
I did see a Cadillac Escalade in Russia, though.
Yeah.
With rims.
Probably mob
rims.
owned.
That freaked me out because the roads is so horrible.
Yeah. No, that guy was part of the mob. That's why he had that.
I'm sure he
was.
was.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But yeah, I mean, you got to get out there and see the world, man. I mean, the world is it's not very big, but it is big.
Yeah.
But you learn a lot about yourself when you go out there, and you learn a lot about people.
I did learn, Russia, because all we know about Russia is Rocky 3 and KGB. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all I knew before I went there. And then I got invited over there, and they were some of the most amazing, humble people.
Nice people.
I mean, it definitely was different. Like I had security with me the whole time, but I didn't know why. I was just I'm like, I don't need you, bro. I'm 300. You know what I'm saying?
I got this. Yeah.
But there's things that you don't know about.
Yeah, it's different.
So it was cool and different.
You saw Tucker Carlson just went over there and interviewed Putin, and then there were the media here.
I like Putin.
I like Putin. Listen, man.
Like
I don't think
he's like, you know what I'm saying?
But listen, Putin's not hiding anything.
Right.
He was part of the KGB.
Yep.
He was part of the fucking, he's got mob ties. He's got all that. Everybody knows that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's not hiding it.
Right.
Like, I don't understand what these, like, the media here will try to play it like it's like he's hiding something. The guy's been that for, he's been president for like 20 years, plus years, right? And he's never changed his tune. He's been the same fucking person.
That's why I don't get the whole thing with people, who crazily love Trump or crazily hate Trump. I'm just like, he's been the same dude I'm 57.
Yeah.
I've been seeing him since I was, before a teenager.
Yeah.
And he's been the same character, the same dude.
Yeah,
so I'm just like, you don't even have to like or dislike him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, listen, the problem with Trump is that they don't want him. Yeah, exactly. But he's a listen, man. Trump is a wild motherfucker, man. He's he's always been a wild motherfucker. I was just about
to say he's always been that.
He's not and so they think that he should be different now. Why? Why does he need to be different? First of all, when he was president, everything was better.
Yeah.
And you can't, whether you support him or you don't support him.
You don't even have to give him the credit for it. You can just say it was better.
Yeah, while he was in that office, whatever fuck he was doing made the country was better. You know what I mean? Everything was better. We were making more money. We were safer. There was no wars. You know what I mean? Like, nobody even thought about it. Even Putin.
I mean, he shut down mostly all the bullshit.
Yeah.
All the foreign affair bullshit.
Yeah.
He shut it down.
He brought businesses
even
back.
if it was just put on pause.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't deny what this country was when he was in that office. No. And you can't deny that. Dude, Biden doesn't even know what fucking year this is right now. They keep showing. You know what? This morning I saw about Biden. This is hilarious. They've gotten to the point where they're saying that the Republicans are making fake videos and putting it out there.
It's AI JB.
They're saying they're making fake videos of him. That's actually
stumbling, bumbling.
Yeah, that's what they said this morning. They're like, listen, this is a video because I don't know. Did you see the video where he was at the church event and they were singing the gospel songs and everybody's singing and clapping and he's just standing there looking at the sky like he doesn't know what fucking year it is. And they're like, dude, man, okay, look, you're getting to a point where it's getting ridiculous what you're saying to us. You're saying that we're now making video. No, this is your video from your channel that we just put on TV just like you did. This is not, and you can't debate that.
It's live except for this part.
Right. You can't debate, and that's the thing, like, these Biden supporters are so diehard liberal that no matter what this guy does, how stupid he gets, like they still want to say that, they make an excuse, right? No, this is a fake video. This is the, like, it's not.
Do you think that they're actually JB supporters or they're just anti
Well,
whatever the other
they're definitely
dudes doing.
anti-Trump for sure.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm just like, are you really supporting it? Like you're cool with this?
Yeah.
I
It
just
can't be. Anybody with half a brain can't be cool with that. Like
No.
this is, but to say that you're supporting the guy who's senile because you don't want the guy you can't control in power again. You know what I mean? You can't. At least don't say that you support him. Just say I don't support either one.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
that. Then I would.
I need another option.
I would respect someone to say, listen, I don't like Trump, but listen, I'm not gonna support the guy that can't walk to the door when the guy's pointing at the door and he walks past them.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I
pretty-
can't support that.
Like if
either.
this was the playground, who would you pick
dude,
to play on your team?
he's not. First of all, and then if he wins, he's not gonna live another 4 years. I mean, there's no way.
I mean, he might.
In the 4 years that he's been in there,
Adrenochrome or whatever they call it.
brother, he's gonna have to. They're gonna have to. Yeah, in the 4 years that he's been in there, go back and look at the first year and then look at him now. How much he's deteriorated.
Yeah.
It's not even the same.
Well, that's a tough job in
Bro.
the first place.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that
and
job. Fuck
and
that.
when you look at
Stressful.
how we got here,
Yeah.
and all the, just all the bull
Yeah,
crap,
dude, so much
like
of it.
cough, COVID, just
Well, they
all the
roasted
thing.
him too, Fauci. They roasted his ass.
But,
Well, that was coming.
but you
though.
remember when he was introduced to the world?
Yeah.
I was like, this is the fall guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah. You knew it. Well,
You-
wait a minute. No, not you knew it.
oh, that's
I
what I'm
knew
saying.
it.
That's what
Most
I'm saying.
people were like, "Oh no, this guy's the best doctor
This is
in
the
the world."
dude that was running the AIDS scare epidemic
Yeah.
or whatever.
The people
So-
didn't know about that. See, people don't
They,
research.
they
do
just
they?
need 10 years to
They
pass,
just-
and then,
yeah.
here, go in with the next
yeah,
bullshit.
yeah, that's right. Well, you saw what they did. They put him. So after that shit happened, they were like, "You need to disappear. Don't come around.
Yeah.
We don't want to see shit about you until we call you." Then they called him 3 weeks ago. They put him on the stand, and they roasted his
It's like,
ass.
I just
they
made that
they
shit
blamed
up.
him for fucking all of it. All of it was on him. But they're still blaming Trump too, by the way, which is funny because I'm like, how the fuck is he you're gonna blame him for everything, everything. He's racist now. He's this. I'm like, first of all, that guy's not racist. That guy's not racist. He's got in the '90s. He was in every rap music video. Like,
He's a character. He's a performer.
yeah,
He's a businessman,
yeah.
and that's why
He's not a politician,
I
yeah.
prefer him because he's actually a businessman.
Yeah.
He's been successful and he's had failures.
Mhm.
The United States is a corporation, so it needs to be run by somebody, a CEO, somebody that knows how to run a corporation.
Yeah.
And so that's the type of person you want to put out front because it forces all the other countries to respect that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? They want to do business with you. And that's why the economy is so well, because people wanted to do business. Now, everybody's going in the opposite direction, and we got to try to figure out what to do next.
Yeah. Do you feel like he's racist?
No.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, right? Like,
No, I don't.
There-
I mean, I do believe there's a such thing as people's mentality that they're supreme, but in their heart, they know they're not.
but in his mind, he's supreme to everybody. Not
That's what I'm
to-
saying,
You
like-
know what I mean? Like,
But everybody knows that, you put your pants on one leg at a time, just
Yeah.
like I do. Everybody has that reality.
Yeah.
You can think that you're better than someone,
Yeah.
because you have more money, status, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you butt naked in the field,
it
you
don't
know what I'm
matter.
saying? Like you
Yeah.
ain't, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you can't bring none of that stuff with you.
Yeah.
Then reality sets in, and you're like, you know what? You got me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. I genuinely think he cares about this country.
I do too.
I think he really cares about the country because anybody in his position, with the amount of money he has and the amount of, he can do whatever the fuck he wants for the rest of his life and not even lift a finger, right? For somebody to choose to go this route and get the shit that he's getting right now with the courts trying to hit him with $500 million and, put him in jail and shit. All of this is because he's running for president.
100%.
It has nothing to do with, him doing bad business and stuff. By the way, and that shit was proven it was nonsense too because the
Bro, they
people,
wouldn't even care.
yeah, the people that he borrowed money from said, no, he paid us back.
Yeah, that.
But they bury that shit, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
for anybody who chooses to say, look, I want to do this for this country, I love this country enough to go through all of this shit just to go in there and help for 4 years.
Well, I know that most of the tactics that they're using against them is backfiring.
Yeah.
They're making it more popular. People who have been effed over in their life, they're like, damn, if they effing over him,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even feel so bad about mine.
Dude, all these businesses in New York are moving because of what they did to him. They're like, well, fuck, if you're going to do that to him, they can do that to anybody that's got a business here. You know what I mean? So they're picking up and fucking leaving, man.
We're teetering, but a world where they can just do that type of stuff,
Whatever they want.
because and they use media and social media to actually push the agenda across. And then even if 3 months later, oh, we was just joking, that wasn't really true. You know what
they
I'm
have
saying?
a fall guy for that.
Yeah.
Oh no, that he chose to do that. We got rid of him. You know, the person we have in now would never do that. You know, it's gonna be. There's always somebody, right? There's always somebody.
It's like Reggie Bush getting his Heisman back. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Our
Here,
bad.
take it back.
Yeah, you can do that.
So,
Well, you look at what they did to Puffy.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm
used
kind
him
of
for all of that time. All that time they used him for all of his things, and then have you been to his parties? You
No, I have not. I told him no.
No, but I'm saying, have you like done security or anything like that for him? Okay. So when he had his house here on Spalding Drive, okay, he threw a couple parties and I ran the door. Okay. I'm gonna make sure you motherfuckers understand. I did not go inside this house. Okay. And if that motherfucker tried anything, I would fucking end him right there. There would be no Puffy right now. Right. But that was the deal. I was like, I'm gonna run the door because that's where you get all the money. You know what I mean? And so I was like, I'll do the door. But I remember this party was strange because the first half of the party was a certain crowd, right? And then when that party stopped, another crowd came. It was a different crowd.
Yeah, the midnight crowd.
After
midnight.
It was like the party. It was like the actual. And I remember, I remember even like a couple of dudes that came up and straight up told me, "Hey, we're delivering drugs."
Just like,
I'm like, Tylenol and Advil. Will you bring some Tylenol? There's headaches going on inside. There's a lot of drinking. It gets dehydrated and get headaches. Yeah. But legitimately showed up and I got a bag full of drugs for the party. I'm like, all right, well, go inside. I don't want to know about it. Just go. I'm like, yeah, just go inside. I don't want to fucking know about what kind of Tylenol you brought with you. You know, and shit. And then a lot of the fucking artists were there, man. Like all of these guys that are now there saying that he tried this and he tried that. I'm pretty sure he didn't. He succeeded with most of them, but they can't say it. You know what I mean?
I don't think none of that stuff was sprung on nobody. You kind of get a little heads up, then the couple of interviews I saw where people said, "Well, you need to be out of there by midnight, or deal with the consequences."
Yeah, so, or he gonna get you. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that it was literally split like that. The first party ended, they all left, and then this other party started. I'm like, oh, okay. The after party to the party. Yeah. But what there was a guy that was like the head security dude for him, and he would come to the door every once in a while and check with me and say, hey, what's going on, everything good and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, everything's good. And he was telling me like the second party that starts is going to be different. He was like, he can't even give me like kind of a heads up. He's like, it's going to be like cartoon characters. They're going to show up. You know what I mean? And when they do,
Atlanta used to be really off the chain back in the day.
Off the chain back then, man.
Like we had Freak Nick, we had Jack the Rapper.
We had everybody.
I'm just saying, like all these things that they don't allow no more.
No, it's done.
It used to be.
It's done.
Super Bowl was here 2 years in a row. Yep. Olympia was here 3 years in a row. I mean, Atlanta's got some.
It was all shit. But the thing with Atlanta is it gets so fucking out of control rowdy. They're like, we can't do this no more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when Free Nick was like 2 years, right? Was it 2 years?
It was actually a few years, and then it just got to the point where it took over the city.
Yeah, at the end of it, it was like riot. It looked like riots and shit.
Yeah,
like
it was a couple years. It was just fun.
It was just good times.
And then after a while,
it got out of control.
It was too crazy.
Yeah, well, that's Atlanta though. Atlanta does
that's what I'm
that.
saying.
Atlanta will start off and like, and then 5 years into it, you're like, oh shit. It's like,
well, we had the Olympics in '96, so from '91 to '96, they prepared the city, And then a lot of people showed up and never left.
Never left. They were like, "This is the bomb. I'm staying here."
know.
What was it, like a 9-to-1 ratio, the girls to guys or something like that?
Yeah.
It was in the fucking Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I remember on the front page. I'm like, if you want to get people to fucking move here, that's what you need to tell them. It's 9-to-1. They didn't tell them this though.
Oh,
They didn't
I already know what you're about to say.
They didn't tell you. Look, it might be 9-to-1, okay, but it's not like 9 good-looking women to 1 dude. Okay, out of the 9, 1 is okay. One is good.
Then you got the whole other crew.
Yeah, well, there's 9-to-1 that too.
And the down low guys.
Yeah.
So now it's like maybe 15-to-1. Like when we don't want them over there. We only want these over here. So,
yeah, it's a different thing. But yeah, man, it's we live in a time, man. It's really weird. Like when you turn on the news, like I can only watch it a little bit. And the only reason I turn it on, I just want to see what kind of fuckery is going on now today. Like what's the thing today, right? I turn it on today. Today was the thing that they're saying that all the right wing people are making fake videos of Biden, and that's what they're putting out. I'm like,
I heard they was about to replace him. That's the last thing I heard.
Well, they have to. They have to. He's not gonna. He can't talk. Could you imagine a debate with him and Trump?
No.
They're not gonna happen.
Come on, man.
It's not gonna happen.
Come on, man.
No fucking way it's gonna happen. They know. Like, what is Trump gonna? It's like putting a kindergartner against.
Well, first of all, after all the stuff that he's been through lately.
Oh man!
You give him the microphone with somebody in close proximity.
Oh man!
He gonna go ham.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be.
Light
it's
him
gonna
up.
be
It's
a
gonna
massacre,
be
man.
Did you see Tom Brady's roast?
Yeah,
it's gonna be like that.
Yeah. It's gonna be like that, but it's gonna be way worse.
Yeah,
because Tom Brady's coherent at least. This motherfucker is like
that shit was
half
funny.
dead.
I mean, I don't know. Again,
most of the time he won't even know what he's talking about.
So in the 90s, 88 to 95, Atlanta was like home of, well, actually before 88, but this was when I came on the scene, in like 87, 88. It was hundreds of millionaire dope dealers in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And in 90...
Is that when BLM was here?
Yeah, all them.
Yeah.
All them dudes. I mean... They was all at Club 112 and all the clubs.
Yeah, I remember. Meech.
Yep, all them. Yep. Yeah. And then I know you probably remember Fred Tokar's.
Yeah.
His wife got killed in the driveway.
Yeah.
And then after that, the feds came in and just.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, it was like dominoes. It was like every week in the club. You know, 1 week is packed.
Yep.
All the tables is taken.
Yeah.
Then the next week is a couple missing.
Yeah.
Then the next week is a couple more missing. It's just like, damn. Then eventually they was just all gone.
That was it.
That was
they
crazy.
Out,
that was crazy.
But you know, that's what happens when it starts getting too out of control. They just say that's enough. That's we can't do this anymore. Keep it going. And then I remember they had that shooting in it wasn't 112. What was the club in Buckhead? Not Oxygen. Well, do you remember?
Diamonds and Pearls.
It was right in Buckhead where all of the like clubs used to be, like where Bar was
Cobalt.
and Cobalt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the famous what's homeboy's name? Ray Lewis incident.
Yeah.
I was there that night.
When Ray killed that dude?
Well,
allegedly.
Well, when that incident happened.
Yeah.
The crazy part about it is, so it supposedly happened like, I don't know, a block and a half away from the club. And so it happened on this side of the street.
Yeah.
Then you got the street, and then it was a car lot, right, where a lot of people parked.
Yeah.
So I walked my friend to her car that night. So I'm on this side of the building, and this shit's going on
the other side.
On the other side of the building.
Same time.
So basically the same time, same proximity.
Yeah.
So I get home and I see the news and they're showing that corner. I'm like,
I was just standing there.
That's literally across the street from where I was at.
Yeah.
So I didn't see nothing, but I'm just saying that's how close it was. We stood in line for like 2 or 3 hours that night to get in the club.
Just to get in?
Because everybody was there before the club opened.
Oh,
and they finally opened it up.
I'm surprised you fucking stood in the club. You've been doing club shit all the time.
It was Super Bowl weekend. So
they were trying to get that money.
Yeah, it was Super Bowl weekend. So I was
$200 a person to get in or whatever.
I was just out there just trying to,
you
know, and actually I knew I was going to get in. It'd be different if I just was hoping to get in.
Right.
So because I knew I was going to get in.
You were at 112 for a minute, right?
Yeah, that was my spot.
That was the spot.
Is
that still around?
No.
Oh man, that's sad.
So I mean, that whole
all of the landmarks are
that
gone.
whole plaza. I mean, Buckhead don't look nothing.
No.
Like in other words, if you didn't live here or visit here
You have
back
no
then,
idea.
you ride through there now.
That Buckhead area right there, where all the
It's-
shops are now,
it's-
that was the. And I don't remember any fights or anything like that till later, like toward the end.
Well, now looking back, you have to know that most of that stuff was manufactured.
Yeah.
So they can
wanted
do what
to
they
close
did.
the shit down,
I mean,
yeah.
now that we see the evidence, the
Yeah.
buildings built and all
Yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
all the property
That
got
was
sold off
that
for
was
cheap.
the project anyway.
But you can tell that those incidents were manufactured
Yeah.
to accomplish the
Yeah.
goal that they
got,
accomplished.
They got crazy later on, but that was the best time, man. That was the time. That was the time. Do you remember?
So remember the club Uranus?
Oh yeah.
And it had the bubbles
Yeah,
coming out.
yeah.
So it used to be like, don't look now, there's
Yeah,
bubbles
yeah,
coming out of
bubbles in
Uranus.
Uranus, yeah,
It
yeah.
used to be funny.
That
as
place,
hell.
and what was the other place? Mako's, where the girls were like on the
Yeah.
swing.
Yeah.
And they were, that was the only place that where everybody fights, and that's because they let underage people in there, and they would get in there and drink too much and get rowdy. Yeah, good times,
Good old
man.
Buckhead.
Good old Buckhead, man. Good old Buckhead.
The clubs open at 11:30 and stay open to 7:30.
That's right, man. Remember Bell
Do they
Bottoms?
still have
with
clubs?
the fucking? I don't know.
Other than
Oh,
strip-
you know what club is still around? Tongue Groove.
Shut your mouth.
They're
In
still
the
around.
same spot?
No, it's a difference. No, because they can't. They close all
I was
that
just
down.
about to say.
No, right down the street on Piedmont.
Literally, Tongue and Groove is still open.
Tongue Groove's still around, bro.
That's wild.
Yeah. My boy
That's
David,
wild.
Scott, all those boys out there.
Last club I've been to here in Atlanta was, where was you working?
Havana
Yeah.
Club. Yeah.
That's the last one.
Yeah. That was the last good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Tongue Groove's not bad. It's just, it's kind of redundant. It's like, for us, we go in there, it's like, why are we here?
I mean, they got OnlyFans
What
now,
are we
so
doing?
they probably,
Yeah,
people don't go to clubs.
they don't go to
I
clubs.
just go turn my computer on.
No, listen, if you want to go clubbing, you got to go overseas. You got to go overseas. That's where the clubs are, man. I was, a big music festival, the Tomorrow
Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland. I think it's Tomorrowland.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I think Tomorrow World is in Europe. But I went to the original one that was in Belgium,
Okay.
the OG one. That was the very first one before I even came on this side of the pond. And that was back in the day, when we were in Europe and shit like that. And it was a first time you go to a party like that, and it's like something that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like the production of it and the amount of people,
Right.
and then the music. Crazy, man. It was like, that was a part of the.
I think my favorite clubs overseas was Amsterdam and Madrid.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Amsterdam's got a lot of sex clubs. That's why you like that place.
No, I didn't go to none of them. I mean,
You missed out then.
I went to the red light district, but I didn't go to the.
No, dude.
Yeah, just the regular club was just like ridiculous.
Yeah, everything is off
Just
shit.
the
You know
regular
what's so
club.
funny about Amsterdam? Because I lived there. Actually, my dad's brother lives there still. Okay, I'll tell you a funny story. So my dad and his brother are completely different. All right. My uncle smokes weed.
Okay.
My dad never does any of that stuff. He'll drink and shit like that, but he won't smoke weed and stuff. So I fly to visit my uncle. We get there, it was an 8-hour flight. I get there, picks me up. We go to the house. He's like, all right, just chill out, and I got something for you. He goes and brings me this blunt. When I tell you this blunt looked like it was 3D, it would look like it had like flowers coming out
I'm
of
about
it.
to say you had hashish in there, probably.
Bro, it was the most craziest thing. All I remember is this. All I remember, after an 8-hour flight, I'm sitting on the couch. He's like, he lights it up. He hits it. He let me hit it first. So I hit it. I give it back to him. The whole thing was kind of funny because I hadn't seen him since I was really young. So I hadn't seen him in like 20 years. All of a sudden I'm seeing my uncle.
You see him after that?
Yeah, and I'm in that. So I hit that and then passed it and then I did it again. And then the next thing I remember was I was sitting on the ground, leaning against the couch, and we were talking about UFOs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we went ancient aliens after 2 hits.
Wow.
That's how fucking strong that shit was. And I was like, God
So
damn.
you remember when Dr. Dre came out with The Chronic?
Yeah.
So around that same year, we had a Thanksgiving party, right? It was like 25 of us.
Yeah.
So these 2 guys came. They was from L.A., and they had some Chronic,
Yeah.
right? And I had never seen it before. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, let me smell
What
that.
is that? Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the dude rolls up I think he rolled up 2 joints and he put them in the microwave. I'm like, why are you putting that in the microwave?
What the
You know
fuck's
what I'm saying?
going on?
So anyway, we sit down. I sit right next to him.
Yeah.
Right?
Give me that
So
first.
he lit it up. I hit it, right? And the next thing I remember is the sun hitting my
Hit your
face.
face.
You know, and I
Waking
woke up. It was the next day at noon. They had skylights.
Okay.
So the sun had came.
Right,
It was
right.
like noon. Right around noon, the sun started hitting me on the face. So I
Yeah.
woke up and the whole house was clean. Nobody was there. They just left me.
One hit.
You know, because I was huge.
Yeah.
So
Well,
they
you
just
can't
left.
live.
They
What are
just
you gonna
left.
put you? Yeah.
They just left me sitting right there on the couch.
So one hit.
Yeah. I don't think it got back around to me.
This is when you were like,
I mean, I was like, you know, I wasn't a connoisseur. You know, I had probably just started smoking weed, maybe probably that same year.
yeah,
So I went from whatever that regular shit we was getting
to that shit.
to that.
Yeah.
And,
What is that shit?
I've been looking for
What
that.
was in it?
I think it was Northern Lights.
Was
It was ridiculous.
I'll
It
tell
was
you-
ridiculous.
I'll tell you a funny Amsterdam story. You know, like when you go to Amsterdam, if you want, and this is good for the viewers too, because if you want drugs, you go to a coffee shop.
Yep.
If you want coffee, you go to a cafe.
Yep.
Okay. So
They do have coffee at the coffee shop though.
they do. That's
if
a
you want
different kind of
Yeah.
It's a different kind of coffee. So, you ever had space cake?
Yes.
Okay. So
It didn't really do nothing to me though.
brother, we'll go together.
Yeah.
I'm taking my boy's spot. You have space cake. You won't be able to stand up.
Oh
Like,
wow.
Bro, it was to the point where I had my two friends, their 2 brothers, came and visited me. And they came and they said, okay, you got to take me to a coffee shop. I'm like, okay, cool, let's go. So I took it to my boy's place. And we're sitting there. He's like, all right, what should I get? I was like, well, for sure you gotta do the space cake, for sure, you know. And I said, you know, you could try other things. They had like salads and shit like that. I was like, but do the space cake first before you do anything else. He goes, all right, do it. So he eats it. These guys are both like power lifters, so big dudes. They're like, oh, I can eat a whole cake. But I was like, don't eat a whole cake. You're going to be here for like a whole week. If you know, they're going to just close the door and leave you here. Like, you're not going to be able to move. So we got one and we shared it. Bro, when I tell you, we couldn't get ourselves peeled off this chair to the point where I had to like literally tip the seat over to fall out of it. It was like that.
Wow.
I was like, what in the fuck did you put in this thing, man?
Wow.
Yeah, so here's the best part. My boy who owns that place, he's from Jamaica originally. He moved to Amsterdam to start this bakery. So he was a baker, but you know, he's from Jamaica. He loves weed. So he was like, how can I do bakery and weed together? He was
Right.
like, I know, I'm going to move to fucking Amsterdam and I'm going to open up a coffee shop and then that's going to be my thing. So he's famous for making space cake now. Because and the problem is it tastes good.
Yeah.
So you're like, fuck, I don't want to eat all this. If I eat all this, I'm not.
Oh, you can't. If they do it right, you can't taste
No, you can't taste it
no
at
weed
all.
at
That
all.
was the problem. You can't.
Yeah.
So we just kept on eating it, and it got to the point where we couldn't stand up, like we couldn't get off of the seat. We had to like tip ourselves over to unpeel from the seat, and then we were crawling, trying to. It was like, I wish there was phones at the time, because it had the flip phones with the shitty cameras. You couldn't see shit.
Right.
Nobody would be like, what is this? Is that you? Is that the ground? What's happening? You know what I mean?
I used to lay over in Amsterdam, get on the train in the
That's a
airport,
good layover.
right? Go straight to the red light district where
Yeah,
the coffee shops
yeah.
are. And so walking through the train station, they got all these little stands. I'll get me an apple
Oh yeah,
and go in there and take my little pen and make me a bong.
yeah,
Right? Because everybody else rolled it in paper
Yeah.
and they use tobacco
yeah,
and weed
yeah,
together.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
ew.
Like, that's no.
So I was going there with the apple and I had the whole,
Everybody's like,
everybody like, what the hell are you doing in there? It's pretty wild. But I used to have some
Yeah.
cool little layovers.
For what people don't know, Tony is like the connoisseur of
Yeah, I used to be.
marijuana, but he stopped. So,
Yeah.
How long has it been now?
Been over a year now.
Did you stop?
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel better?
I get a lot more shit done.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
You have to understand, like, when I was bodybuilding
Yeah.
and all I did was bodybuild, it wasn't like I was like
Had
I
a
do
job,
now where
yeah,
I do
yeah.
like
Multiple-
25
multiple
things.
yeah.
And so it kept me like calm. It kept me, you know what I'm saying, even headed
Centered,
because
yeah.
a lot of times, especially when you're dieting, you're very short fused.
Yeah.
So, I did it for other people's safety as well as as well as mine.
Right.
And just like I'm 57 now, so it's like I got shit to do. I got a lot of stuff to make up for.
Yeah.
And so my mom died of lung fibrosis.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically was like, I'm gonna stop inhaling,
Mm-hmm.
and I switched over to the oil, which I do still do that every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a minute for that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like everything else, moderation, except for obviously you don't moderate heroin and coke.
Oh well, I
shit
mean,
like that, but but that's different. You know what I mean? To me, that's different. It's you have to be careful right these days. And I tell my daughter all the time, I'm like, be careful because they're lacing it with fentanyl.
Yeah,
things like that.
I'm more worried or would stay away from high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, that's way worse.
And shit like that.
And
That type of stuff, because it comes in these innocent packages.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what's messing people up. That's what's making people insulin resistance, fatty liver. If you look at labels like I do, and like now I know what not to pick up because I already know it's on there.
Yeah.
But if you don't look at the label, it's in there. And then you'll see now they're switching it up. They use fructose glucose syrup. They don't say high fructose corn.
Because everybody knows it.
They just changed the wording. And I'm just like, that stuff is like straight. It's like injecting sugar.
Yeah. And it's, I remember I read something that says linked to cancer too.
It's linked to all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
It gives you metabolic syndrome. I can't even believe it's legal in the United States because it's not legal in Europe. It's not legal
Yeah,
in
people
Australia.
don't know that. People don't
like
know
a regular, Coke or Gatorade is illegal.
Yeah.
It's called, what do they call it?
Cane sugar.
Contraband.
Yeah, you have to use cane sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like Mexico. Yeah. They're like, why is there a Coke made with cane sugar? I'm like, because they don't want to.
They had the commercials talking about, it's the same thing as sugar. I'm like, well, then just give us sugar.
Yeah, yeah.
Why you give? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Why? So it must be benefiting you for you to put something else in there, not us.
Right.
So
that's always a funny thing. It's the same as sugar. Well, why not get sugar then?
Yeah, I really hope, especially now, that that somebody or some group of people get together and try to fix our food supply.
Well, Trump was talking about this too. I mean, he was saying that and it had to do with this big craze with the Ozempic and the Wegovy and what's the other one? Mounjaro. So all those drugs are linked for weight loss, right? Or type 2 diabetics. Mm-hmm. Well, it started off with type 2 diabetics, and then FDA said, well, we could probably pass this for weight loss.
Yeah.
And they did. They went and did clinicals. They found the data said this is good for anybody that's overweight, and it might even help people not become diabetic by using it. So they approved it as an FDA approved for weight loss. And then the craze got so big that they started to have a shortage of everything. You know what I mean? So now there's a shortage. So I remember Trump talking about, that whole thing with the weight gain and how the society needs to be changed. So he needs to do something about that. I don't know if he specifically was talking about those or he was just talking about in general the obesity problem in this country, which there is. There's a very obvious one. And for me, the saddest part, because, we deal with clients on both, with our other businesses. But for me, the saddest part is when I see children that are overweight, they're obese. You know what I mean? Because they don't know any better.
No.
You know what I mean? They don't know any better. And unless they have literally physical ailments that, there's a thyroid issue or something like that, they deserve to, have a fair shake. And a lot of times it's because their parents are putting garbage in front of them. You know?
And also, if you try to make them exercise or go outside and play, it's like abuse. It's looked at as abuse.
Dude, that's all we did. We would go outside until the sun came down, and then we came home. That's what we did. Now people go home and play video games and eat fucking chips, on the couch. And
it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But that's like normal. I mean, it's not normal, but I'm saying that's the norm.
That's the norm now. Yeah, that's the norm now. So. But, it is what it is. Who are you going to vote for? Put you on the spot.
So Trump is my first choice, but I like Robert Kennedy as well. I mean,
and they're trying to fuck him up too, that guy.
Yeah, I mean, Either or. I mean, I prefer Trump because he's more of a businessman, and plus, he deserves 4 more years, in my opinion, from what they put him through. Yeah. And then, after him, like I said, Kennedy would be my second choice. I don't know who else is available, but
no, I like Kennedy too. I think he's got some valid points when he with what he wants to do. But I think same. Trump is my first choice.
I just want, like I say, the economic side, the business side, because like I say, the United States is a corporation. So let's get that house cleaning shit together.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and then all the emotional crap. I mean, you can deal with that later on.
It's not a personal thing. Like, it's not. It shouldn't be personal. They've made it personal. They've made it personal. Yeah. And I think for me, the business side of things is what he's already shown that. Listen, when I'm in there, business gets better, and I'm like, and I've seen that.
Most successful businesses, they either got an asshole in charge or he's actually running it, and somebody else is his boss.
Look at Apple. But
I'm just saying, in life in general, when you go to the military, the drill sergeant, he's the nicest dude in the world, but he has to be the asshole to get you snapping line.
To make strong people. Yeah.
We lack discipline. We lack structure. We lack all those things that we call hard, which aren't really hard. It's really life, because life is hard. So I think we just need someone to actually, like I say, have that business mind, put America first, and then everything else should fall into place.
Yeah, and I believe, like I said, man, the guy cares about America. I mean, you can't take that away from him. And as much as you want to not like him because he grabbed some pussy 25 years ago,
but I'm like, the pussy might have grabbed his hand though.
But that's the thing. Like, who was
there? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you
first of all, that was locker room talk anyway.
I understand, but I'm saying, if you're a successful millionaire, billionaire, celebrity, anything, pussy finds your hand, bro. It's not like you out there grabbing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so. I mean, that part right there was weird to me, that was even a thing.
It's so stupid. They're desperate. That's why. They're so desperate. They go find a porn star, and they say they use her testimony to try to get this guy in jail. I mean, it's like that. That's how the desperation's gotten to that point where it's that. Meanwhile, Biden's got fucking pay stubs from China, and his son's like a felon doing heroin and shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? You know what I mean? But I mean, even all of that aside, even if, like, I'm not this way, I'm not this way. What I am, I'm about this country, right? So I've bled for this country. I've fought for this country, and proudly done that. You know what I mean? So I don't have a problem with anything that benefits this country. But I think right now, between what I'm seeing in front of me, the two guys, Trump is the one that's going to benefit this country. It's going to make this country stronger. It's going to represent this country better. And it's going to bring this country back up. And that's why I support him. It has nothing to do with whatever he fucking did before. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference to making this country better, and what it potentially can be with him being in there.
If this, the person that's the leader of the country is supposed to be someone that you can visually look up to. I mean, again, you never know what type of person the person is behind I'm talking about visually carries himself correctly, can speak correctly, make good sound decisions. That's what we're looking for. We can't even get the basics from JB. Not even the basics. When I listen to him talk, I'm just like, I just can't believe they forced this dude into this situation.
What he's saying, man. he can't talk.
Like I said, if this was the playground, who are you picking?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who are you picking to be on your squad?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just it's to the point where it's become that ridiculous. Where you're gonna compare these two guys that are in complete different healths. I mean, they're just, if you just put them like cognitively next to each other, you can't argue who's got fucking decision-making abilities.
Unfortunately, that's our only choices. So if that's the case, for sure, and they say it's like lesser of the two evils or whatever.
Yeah.
But again, when you ask people what didn't you like about Trump, it never was I didn't like the way he ran the country. I didn't like how the
you
economy
never hear
was.
that.
I didn't, gas was too cheap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
You never heard none of that
yeah,
shit. It was always something
Yeah.
that had more to do with his
He
personality.
went on a date with a porn star one time in his life back 50 years ago. Like, what the fuck are you talking about right now?
Well, just like we're finding out all this stuff about all these people, everybody is guilty.
It's even worse.
You know what I'm saying? Like it goes with
Bill
the
Clinton
territory.
was going to fucking Epstein's Island. Thank God Trump never did that shit, man.
Right.
He'd be underneath the jail if he did that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, hey, man, it's a weird time in the world on many levels. I hope at least he gets a fair shake and they don't say some dumb shit like they did when Biden won the last time. Well, he didn't win, but they fucked up. You know when they fucked up?
Go ahead.
They fucked up when they said that he got 11 million more votes than Obama did.
When
That's
they
when
said
I was like,
when they said he got the most votes in the history of voting, I was like, this is complete.
this is cool. They fucked up.
He didn't have a campaign. There was no, I approve these messages. There was none of those.
No.
So he was third in the Democratic running.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they appointed him. Next thing you know, he got more votes in the history of voting.
It's unreal.
And so when that went down, I was just like, well, they're going to overturn this shit.
Yeah.
I kept saying to myself, they're going to overturn
Yeah.
it. There's no fucking way.
There's no way.
There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, man. It's a weird time. I hope it does come around and this country stands strong again because this is the best country in the world, man. That's why people are risking their lives trying to get in here. I hope they stop doing it illegally because it is a safety issue for everybody who's here now. When that shit, I mean, you've seen all these people that are getting murdered by people who's not supposed to be here.
18 to 28-year-old young men coming in the country, they all, I mean, those are soldier ages.
Yeah,
so
So
like they say, we getting infiltrated from the inside.
Yeah. So hopefully all that will change and the country will turn around and stand strong and tall again. Because right now we get no respect from any country. Because
looking like Revelation in the Bible.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, very much so.
What I can tell you guys is be prepared for any fucking thing. Because there might be a purge day one day. It might be. Never know.
Well, I know you'll be ready.
I'll be ready. All right. Till the next one. We love you guys. We'll see you soon. Peace.